Hi, this video is on periods, and periods are two phrases that complement one another. In particular, they have a weak cadence at the end of the first phrase and a strong cadence at the end of the second phrase. So, this example by Mozart here is a good example of the first type of period we're going to talk about. Let's take a listen to it and then we'll talk about what it is. Okay, so as we listen to this, we can hear that we have a thematic idea here at the first, and it is repeated in the beginning of the second phrase. We call this a parallel period. When we get to the end of the first phrase here, what we see is we have a cadential 6/4 going to a 5/5/3 there, and at the very end we have a 6/4 going to a 5/3 going to the tonic. So we get here at this point a half cadence, and then here at the end we get, whoops, wrong line, we get a PAC. So, and in the middle here, sometimes you'll see this little link that allows the motion to carry into the next phrase. So, parallel period, put simply, is two phrases that begin the same but will end differently. So we get a half cadence in this case at the end of the first phrase. It could be an IAC. We could create a period that has an IAC, and then we have a PAC at the very end. So parallel periods are usually pretty easy to hear. Then we have another type of period. So this Haydn example on the surface might look like it's a parallel period of some sort. Just looking at it, the two phrases begin similarly. They have a very similar contour, although the second phrase is an octave and the second higher, but it's not. We're not going to call this a parallel period. Okay, so what happens here is we have this one phrase and it ends in a half cadence here. So, and then we have another phrase, it's at a different pitch level, and that ends, we're going to say it's a PAC. I suppose it could be open to interpretation because he leaves he uses an escape tone here before going, and it's a strong escape tone before getting to the tonic. It's Haydn. It's rather quirky. It's fourth movement of the Symphony 101, so it's going to be a very kind of jovial piece. So the two phrases begin differently. They begin at different pitch levels, not just that it's an octave and a second above, but that second above is what makes it contrasting. Contrasting periods can be even more contrasting than this. For instance, the Beethoven Pathétique, the second movement, the two phrases have little in common thematically. What holds it together is the first phrase ends on a half cadence, the second phrase ends on a PAC. Some teachers may use the term, this was common years ago when I was a student, sequential period. That's not really a term that grew legs, shall we say. it is descriptive of what happens here. We do have a bit of a sequence here, melodic sequence between the two, but that's what makes them contrast from one another. So there you have it, your parallel period and your contrasting period. Parallel means they start the same, end differently. Contrasting means that they are two independent, not really independent phrases, but two different phrases that are connected by the fact that there is a weak cadence followed by a strong cadence. So, next video will be on sentences. See you then.